Hello and welcome. I'm Lesser Scholar, and this is a commentary on my personal record in a Bannerlord 1 million dinar speedrun. And since I don't think anyone else speedruns this game, this is probably also the world record. So very soon I will start the video and a bunch of things will happen very fast, and I will try to do my best to explain my reasoning behind my actions and what I'm doing. But first, let me explain a bit about this run. So basically, this is a combat game, but we won't be doing any actual fighting in this run. We just want to make as much money as possible in as little time as possible. So we are going to just abuse the smithing system and craft really high value items and sell them in each of the towns. And since each of the towns only has like roughly 50,000 dinars, we need to visit multiple towns before we can actually get to 1 million. So this run will be you gain or win time based on your route, how efficient your route is, how quickly you go through the menus, and then there is large luck factor. So let's get the video rolling, and I will try to explain what happens. So first we have the character creation, and since we are just doing smithing, I will be picking just things that give you more smithing, and nothing else really matters. We start battalions in sandbox mode so that we start in the battalion zone because the cities are close to each other. So in the early game we can visit multiple cities kind of quickly, and there's also Xeonon, which has hardwood. And I pick the charcoal refining perk because our main character is going to be refining lots of charcoal, and that increased the efficiency a lot. And here is the first glitch where I buy hogs and immediately slaughter them and sell them to get boost of early cash. And I recruit the first companion and start riding towards Xeonon, where we have hardwood and also second companion. So we need companions because more companions means we have more smithing stamina effectively. Because we will be doing a lot of smithing, we want more companions, and I take the weapons of the companions, and I took my own weapons as well, and we can smelt those weapons. So the way this run works is you buy low value weapons, you smelt them, and you craft higher value weapons and sell those. Very interesting economic model, but that's what we have. And this run mostly works because of tribesmen throwing daggers and bugios. So we will be buying lots of those two weapons and smelting them down. And I'm doing charcoal refining on my main character, trying to get to smithing 50, looking through the patterns. I want to get to smithing 50 is because you have to perk a curious smelter or something, which means that you get more part unlocks through smelting. So what we are trying to do is to unlock good smithing pattern. So in this game you get like random unlocks whenever you do smithing actions, and you unlock different parts, and some of them sell for way more money than others. So we are trying to unlock the high value ones. So for that we want to craft weapons and smelt them, and craft weapons and smelt them. And I sell some of the first swords that we make to get some early money and buy the first tribesmen throwing daggers. And I also bought some pack horses and recruited few voluntary or the low level grunts to get rid of the herding penalties. We can have more pack horses and carry more charcoal. And I'm going to Ben Canuck to recruit the final companion and hopefully buy some more daggers. So at clan level 0 we can recruit up to 3 companions. So we want to as quickly as possible recruit all the companions we can. Buy more tribesmen throwing daggers. And I also equip sumpter horses on all the companions. to hopefully get rid of or to get more speed on the campaign map. Cavalry troops give more campaign speed. Buy more tribesmen throwing daggers. I don't have enough money, so I couldn't buy them all. So we have to craft some more. So we can buy more daggers. And I'm hoping to get good patterns, good high value swords, or pole arm. Pole arms can work as well, but swords are the #1 preference. And we also need, we need a blade, good blade, and good handle. So you need to get handle, which has both one-handed and two-handed. Because if you have only two-handed handle, you get like 30% penalty on the sell price. So we already got a good handle, tier 3, one-handed, two-handed handle, and we have this fine steel tier 4 blade, which is okay, not the perfect, and there we get really good pattern. We get the star falchion. So the star falchion is very good because it only requires iron. You make star falchions from iron, and usually the good blade patterns require steel or fine steel, which are harder to get. So having the star falchion is unlocked is super good for this run, because you can, whenever you're out of iron, whenever you're out of steel, you can make star falchions from just iron. So we're off to a really good start, even though we are 30 seconds behind my previous time. This is a good start. So now we are basically in go mode. We can start the actual run. We have enough patterns, and so we passed the early game reset points. Now I just need to make sure that I buy enough wood. I have good campaign map speed. I have enough weapons to sell in each of the towns. I just, out of habit, I leveled smelting perk that could be useful. It's not useful in this run actually, because we are already done and we won't be doing any more smelting, but just in case we would do more smelting for better patterns, that perk is very useful. So now we just go around the imperial towns and hope to buy bugios, hope to buy tribesmen throwing daggers, smelt them down, and make some weapons for selling. I'm looking through the patterns once more. No upgrades for this slot. For the crossguard, now we have tier 2 crossguard. It's marginally better. I don't know, it's probably not even worth switching from tier 1 crossguard to tier 2 crossguard, but whatever. Now we have slightly better crossguard, so the weapons should sell for a bit more money. And again, we need to hope for more daggers, because we don't, in this run you basically never have enough materials. You need to sell 40,000 worth of weapons in every town you visit, 50,000 worth of weapons in every town you visit, to be efficient. So you need to have enough steel, enough fine steel, enough iron to make those weapons. Need to get lucky with the amount of throwing daggers and the amount of bugios that the towns have. I switched from star falchions to the tier 4 blade pattern, because that way I can kind of, I kind of messed up. I made one too many star falchions, so now I'm out of iron. I'm kind of scrambling. What do I do? How do I get more iron? And I decide that we can just go to the next town and worry about it there, and hope we get bugios throwing daggers there, so we can fix the iron issues. So I should have switched to the fine steel blade pattern earlier, so that I would not run completely out of iron. So luckily we have some Bugios, we have some daggers here. We can fix this issue. So we smelt these, and we can make more weapons. This was fairly low. Usually Argoron has lots of weapons. There's a smithy there, I think. There's also smithy in Umbrella, which means that these cities typically they have lots of weapons for selling. Unfortunately, as we're going to see, Umbrella is very poor. This run only one Bugio, for tribesmen throwing daggers. Okay, 5 is not really poor, but 5 is definitely below average for our Umbrella in the early game. So I'm kind of running low, even though I have the very good patterns with the Star Falchion. I will kind of run low on all the materials here. Just keep switching it between the tier 4 blade pattern and the Star Falchion, and there I actually unlocked another really good pattern, which is the Broad Falchion blade, which is a tier 3 blade pattern that requires steel. So now I have really good patterns for fine steel, really good pattern for steel, and really good pattern for iron blade, which will make the resource management much easier because I can, whichever resource I have the most, I can make blades from that resource type. That makes the resource management much nicer. And it's very lucky. It's very lucky to get patterns in all resources. Although my my fine steel pattern is not the best. I have fairly poor fine steel pattern, but it's still really good to have them all. And right now I'm doing very good on the resources. I have lots of fine steel. I have 24 steel, 30 iron. That's more than I have had at any point previously in this run. But soon my luck is going to turn, I think, and there will be multiple towns with really poor dagger selection. So we are closing to the 50k mark, and there we hit 500k. We hit 500k 1 minute faster than my previous run, so very nice first half of our trip. And this speed is largely fueled by the convenience of having all the patterns, all the different resource patterns unlocked in the swords. So often what happens is that you might have a good pattern for fine steel in swords, and then fine pattern for steel in pole arms, for example. But then you lose time because you have to switch between swords and pole arms. Here I never even checked the pole arms because I have the good patterns in swords. So that's kind of like, if you get lucky, you need to do less menuing, which is like double time save. The pole arms can be really good though. And you can also get similar situation in pole arms when you unlock like a fine steel pole arm blade and then like steel pole arm, and then you also have this like resource. You can mix these different pole arms as well, but it's definitely better to have it in swords. And again, there was no zero daggers in Fukan, so I'm running kind of now. Previously I had like very good resource selection, and now I'm kind of running low again. And nothing on Bukios, 2 daggers, and I don't have food, and I buy some food, any food, because if you don't have any food, then you get movement speed penalty on the campaign mode. And I repeat the same mistake. I make one too many star falchions, so I ran out of iron. But it's okay. I had enough iron for one more broad falchion, which I make, and we can get more daggers later, and then keep making broad falchions because I have lots of steel, or enough steel for now. Again, only Pugios, no traps and throwing daggers, not very good. And yeah, actually I didn't explain. I go through the map in clockwise order because in my experience, the northern towns have a lot more daggers in the early game than the southern imperial towns. So I want to get, if possible, I need more daggers early because that way, like, you have buffer of materials. And here, unfortunately, I run into mountain bandits and I have to pay them off. It's okay, they didn't want that much money, only 8k, which is sometimes they want like 40k. They were nice this time, and just a few seconds lost. There was like 3 parties that ganked me and I wasn't paying attention. I'm out of iron, running low on steel. I have some fine steel. I'm trying to find patterns that don't require any iron because I messed up my iron management again and I want to get my money in this town. And I managed to make swords without any iron. Now we have to go 2 minutes to my previous record. 200,000 to go. And I'm out of resources, so in every town I need to scramble. Need to make more swords. This is not optimal. This is because I'm low on everything. Need to rest to get the stamina. Full scramble mode. Hoping that these few towns will have enough daggers so that I can finish the run. I basically have only time for one more town after this. So we get lucky enough. In rotate, we can make... Oh, I have selected poor crossguard, which requires crude iron, because previously I was running out of steel. But now I have to fix that, and losing a few seconds there, trying to figure out why can't I craft. And I realized that I have to sell this third weapon as well, because the next town might not have enough money otherwise. So a bit of extra menuing there. I already exited the town, but I had to go back in to sell the third sword as well. And now I'm hoping that there's enough stuff in Lageta that I can finish the run. And there is a bunch of tribesman daggers, so I need to go smelt them. I need to make my final swords. And finish at 1657, and I split late. But yeah, that was a decent run. Pretty good beginning. I get eventually I get very good patterns for all the different resources, which saves a bunch of time. And even with that luck, I was kind of running low on everything. So you see how important it is to get that like redundancy in the materials. But I definitely lost a lot of time late game due to running out of everything. And the beginning could have been better, but it was okay. And I'm happy with this run. Gameplay wise, I played okay. Few panic moments, but there's always panic moments when something unexpected happens. This is very like a dynamic run in that sense. You cannot plan for everything. This was on patch 1.6.2, and we finish with 1 million dinars on day 19. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed and take care.